specifically about California. I'm just using that as an example.
That's the federal government. That's the example. The federal government is the one passing stuff. The federal government is the one doing subsidies. The greatest example of that is fucking when Nancy Pelosi's husband bought stock.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
point.
point.
In the chip industry.
That's my point.
I get that, but I don't understand the EV push situation. None of it is working out.
Because the industry is making all this money.
No, they're not. Look at Ford. Look at Ford, GM, all those people.
They're not specifically electric vehicles.
No, they're not.
Companies like Tesla is what I'm talking about. Companies that make electric vehicles and that's it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Make solar panels and that's it. Or make windmills and that's it.
Tesla makes EVs, but the thing is, they're very unaffordable. The people that are buying the EVs are getting them from Ford, GM, and all these other, and Chrysler, or whatever exists anymore, or what is it, Stellantis or something? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They are the ones, people are buying those cars from those dealerships. They're not going to Tesla. Tesla is going for a very specific, person with a certain amount of money and everything. They're unaffordable for a person, even with the government subsidies. So all these EVs
Most EVs are.
I know, but I'm saying they're out of range. Out of range. Tesla's out of range. So we're talking about the 3 major companies that had the little strikes. All their people, all those EVs are sitting in the lots. You know this. We talked about this. Fucking on Fox Business, they were talking about how as soon as that ended that strike, they were saying all those EVs are sitting in their lot and they're changing their business model because they can't fucking sell them. And on top of that, which was hilarious, is by doing that, they were able to retain a lot of their workers. But Ford specifically came out and said if we ever switch to EVs permanently, we will lose half our workforce because we won't fucking need them. Mm-hmm. So that was hilarious. So the EV idea, let's say your Newsom idea, okay? I don't think I think Newsom, it's possible he has stock in it, but I don't think it has anything to do with California. I don't think California is subsidizing anything. They don't even have money. Their budget is they said they were going to lose over $1 billion, several $1 billion deficit.
That's the thing. They don't have to make money.
But
when you're talking about government subsidies, when you're talking about government subsidies, the companies don't have to make money.
No.
All they have to do is say, we're a green company, and the government says, oh, here's a check for $10 million. Here's your subsidy. People that own the company take the $10 million and say, here, big guy, here's your 10%. Oh, yeah, we're going bankrupt, by the way.
That's exactly what happened with that company under Obama.
So he pockets money.
But that's not what happened.
I'm saying that is maybe not in that specific circumstance, but I'm sure that happens all the fucking time.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Elon Musk got subsidies in the beginning, but his company actually thrived. I can't remember the company that was a solar panel company under Obama that bankrupted.
Chinese solar panel company.
Yeah, it was here in the United States. And I wish I could remember the name of it. They gave them subsidies to work on stuff, and they didn't even create one solar panel. So that money disappeared, which is probably where it went, is what you're talking about.
Obama's pocket.
I don't know about Obama, but a lot of people's pockets. Mm-hmm. And that was a whole other situation, though. That was fraud.
Washing machine.
That was fraud.
Financial washing machine, just like Ukraine.
Fraud. But those government subsidies aren't that enough money for it to explain the EV push that they're doing. Because even if we were everyone was so stupid to buy an EV, okay, and even had the money for it, who cares? Even if everybody was given an EV for free, you have to update your house and all this shit, so that's an extra cost. But it doesn't matter. Our electric grid wouldn't support it. So why aren't they this is my question, why aren't they putting money into the infrastructure they need to accomplish, if you're saying, all their goals they need in order to make money if they actually have stock or some sort of investment in those companies?
Because they can't expand the grid. Because to expand the grid, they would need to drill more and get more coal and natural gas and shit like that to power the plants. And they don't want to go nuclear, even though that's supposedly the cleanest form of energy. Yeah. They don't want to go nuclear for whatever fucking reason. And they can't,
they think it's toxic.
They can't do coal and oil because that violates their principles. And the sun and the fucking wind is not going to power to the volume that needs to be powered. Because days like this, where it's cloudy all
and
day
beautiful,
and there's barely a breeze, you're going to be freezing your ass off because nothing's going to have fucking electricity.
So then that's my question. Why are they pushing an industry that is failing, if they are invested or not? Let's say they are. Why are they pushing an industry they know will fail, knowing those facts?
Because, like I said, one of the reasons is they're lining their pockets at everybody else's
Let's say the
expense
pockets are
they
done.
don't care.
The pockets are
and
done.
The other thing is, it's probably one of those watch this hand so you don't see what's going on in this hand.
Okay, get rid of the concept of what you're talking about, with everybody's hands in pots and money going everywhere.
That wasn't about money. It's like let's dangle this EV shit and let everybody focus on this while this happens in the background that no one's
so you're
paying
talking
attention
about like the yeah, that was something I was talking about Ken with. I think it's called BRICS, BRICS. It's a different currency that people are doing that it's actually kind of scary that nobody's talking about.
That's an
example.
This is not about money.
That's an
talking
example
about right now.
No, that's it. No, what I mean money is they're changing the currency and they're trying to get rid of the dollar.
They're saying let's put all this focus on Israel to get the focus off of Ukraine. That way we can do whatever we're doing over here in Ukraine that we don't want people to know, so we're going to focus on
and that's what I was
Palestinians,
talking about.
Or the other way around, or whatever.
That's what I was talking about with the BRICS crap, because nobody's talking about that. And the dollar, if that article I read is right, and they're right, it's Russia, China, India. What's the other one that's huge? Russia, China, India, someone else, and Saudi Arabia recently signed on. They're changing the currency to local currency and no longer taking the US dollar. So they're ditching the US dollar. And they've been doing this for a few years. But they're getting other major companies. And Saudi Arabia recently signed on. That's a problem. I don't blame them. They are a, quote, ally. And I do consider them highly an ally. So, anyway, they're saving themselves because of what is happening with Biden.
That's another
and
thing.
us in general, but
Biden is falling the fuck apart, and people are in denial about it. So they're like, "Oh, let's go after Trump, and we'll do 24/7 coverage on Trump, so we won't cover fucking Grandpa shitting his pants and falling up the stairs."
Like a dozen times.
Yeah.
This guy
and stuttering
is crazy.
and murmuring and
shaking the air,
screaming and whispering and shaking hands.
I
with
swear,
ghosts and
that will forever be my favorite thing that happened during this entire administration, when he turned around and shook the hand of nobody.
And it's like, then shit comes out about Hunter Biden and Epstein's connections with Bill Clinton and all this other shit, and it's like, oh well, we're gonna file more charges against Trump, and this is happening
Ironic.
with Trump and but all this shit still exists over here, and it seems like Fox and maybe Newsmax are the only people that cover shit.
I still don't understand the end game. It sounds to me like they're ruining everything. Like we had that conversation before.
One world government.
I understand,
One world
but
situation.
Where everything started to go down when they did what was the education law back in the day? Brown versus education, is it?
For desegregation.
Yeah, for desegregation. That law changed a lot of things besides just desegregation.
And teachers unionized.
Yes, that's what I meant. So teachers unionized and created all this stuff, and all of a sudden everything went Democrat in the 90s, and then all of a sudden it seeped into everything and turned everybody into retards that think they're fucking different genders or two genders or gender fluid or whatever the fuck. It's strange how they've been destroying.
England calls that abrosexual or some shit.
Yeah, I remember.
Some new made-up term.
They're destroying America within, which makes no sense, because Democrats want to stay in power. That's why they cheated in the last election. So if you want to stay in power, why are you turning your people stupid? Why are you making policies that are destroying your country, that are not going to work, and causing other problems around the world on top of it? Okay? What is the end game? Are you all going to get up once this place goes to shit and go somewhere else? That's what I don't
They're all
get.
gonna be dead. They don't give a shit.
That's
They're
the
all
other thing.
Geriatric septuagenarians.
Yeah, but then you have this new generation coming up, like these squad fuck faces that are worse than Bernie Sanders, And it's
and
like...
They're that dumb because they were brainwashed.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is they brainwashed all these
playing
retards.
Off what you said, you have to make people stupid to continue voting for these dumb motherfuckers.
And that's why they're legalizing marijuana everywhere. To make people dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But that's... What do you... I'll say this and we can end this. What is their end game? Based on everything I said. What is your... What do you think their end game is? Because you're right. They all will be dead. Biden won't make it to a second term. Or through a second term.
They are trying to... I know it's cliche and stupid to say, and people like... I don't like people who bring up the whole, like... What the fuck was it back when we first got together? Agenda 21, like, New World Order. That type of shit. That's like... I am so sick of hearing about that shit, but they're globalists. That's what it is. They're trying to make it like how Europe is, the EU, where you don't have to have a fucking visa for each country. You can just walk right across the border, country to country, because it's all part of the European Union. It's like, it seems like they want to do that with the entire world.
With the open border.
Yeah.
But it's like, even if they want to make one global society, you'd think they'd want countries to thrive, especially the countries that they are fucking located in. Because then they'd stay in power. They'd make tons of money. Their ancestors would make money. Hunter would stay out of jail. Descendants would make money. So it's like, I don't get it.
Well, that's the thing. They can make...
And they're starting wars everywhere.
Now.
I know, but they're starting wars everywhere now, too.
Look at the Hunter Biden situation, like you just said. He was making all kinds... He was a fucking nobody. He was the vice president's son, smoking crack, banging hookers.
He got kicked out of the military, too.
Doing fucking videos...
Porn!
Taking pictures and selfie videos, fucking hookers and smoking crack, and he was making $80,000 a month at a fucking gas company in Ukraine, and he had no history or experience in the fucking field. I
know, it's hilarious.
So it's like,
I get the whole money factor and follow the money.
That's what it is.
Blah,
they
blah,
don't
blah,
give
blah.
a shit what happens. From
but to
my
me,
opinion,
that's where I'm like.
They're not worried about, like, what are my kids going to do 30 years from now? How are they going to make their money? They don't give a fuck. They're going to be dead.
But see, I don't necessarily think they think that way.
And
the only reason I say that is, like, for example, let's give you China for an example, and that's where a lot of this retard made a lot of money, and he's ignoring China and doing all these things. Xi is a dictator. He wants nothing to do with America, and he wants to control America. I mean, look what's happening. So it's like...
He's trying to make America like China.
Worse than China. I mean, China at least
with
has...
the control and the thumb on everybody and stuff like that, tech-wise, that's...
Well, and I agree with that, except the problem is our population is severely stupid compared to the Chinese population. They rank way higher in education than us. Math, science, you name it. Our fucking facilities over there for just like where COVID came from, they've got Bio 4, Level 4 facilities over there. I think we have one. They've got a ton. They have nuclear weapons.
They're training people to export them.
Yes.
To come here, and they're like sleeper cells.
And that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
With the open border, all those Chinese that are crossing by. I don't know what their plan is, but it's ugly. Something ugly is going to happen.
And I think
especially
the next ugly thing that happens is going to be on U.S. soil.
Oh, absolutely. I think if Biden loses, some shit's going to fly. Regardless of whatever happens, it's going to happen around Taiwan. When they invade Taiwan, which I think will still be under Biden, regardless of whether he wins or not, so in 2024, because they're already like doing a bunch of stuff I read articles on. Anyway, if they try to or attempt or whatever, Taiwan... something will happen here to disrupt our communications with our military. Too many bases have too much land owned by China around them, which makes no sense.
It may do that, and also something may happen here to get the media from reporting on the invasion of Taiwan. So
it'll be a distraction.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
I think the distraction...
This hand over here, this hand over here.
I agree with the distraction. They'll try and distract, but I mean, you can't distract massive things like that. Just like, the stupid little balloon that was in the air. Sure, somebody from Montana saw it. But it's like, no, you can always distract stuff, but in the end...
Just like the Afghanistan.
They're going to have to do... Besides, like, if you blew something up...
Just like the Afghanistan thing. There were people who had no fucking clue about what happened with Afghanistan, that it even happened.
I cannot believe that the guy you work with did not know what happened with Afghanistan.
Yep.
That is shocking.
That's what I mean.
It's like he lived on a rock. I have no idea how... I've never met anybody, but again, I don't walk around the earth and talk to people. How anyone didn't know what happened with Afghanistan. I don't. And the fact you told me that one day, like, my heart sank because it was awful. But at the same time, I was like, he's got to be fucking lying to you. He has to be lying to you.
There are people who don't watch news.
You don't even have to watch the news. I mean, it was popping up on everything.
They broadcast it on ESPN, honey.
I don't know. I don't have ESPN. You're right. That's what he watches. That's what he watches on his phone, doesn't he?
He watches sports shit.
Well, it came up everywhere. Like, I mean, even, like, Charles Barkley was talking about it. I think he was on ESPN talking about it. So it's like it came up. I don't know. It's shot. Like, people...
It's one of those things. It's like, we've been in Afghanistan for 20 fucking years. What are, you know... You're mentioning Afghanistan. Okay, I've heard Afghanistan for 20 fucking years. Like, it's white noise at this point. For someone who doesn't watch stuff, it's white noise.
That's crazy. See, and I guess I don't understand it.
When I see, like, breaking news before the whole Hamas-Israel thing.
Ugh.
Breaking news. Palestinian suicide bomber blew up someplace in Israel and they killed some people and blah, blah, blah. It'd be fucking white noise because that shit's been happening for 2,000 years. Who gives a shit? That's the way I feel about it.
Well, I guess you have to pay attention to the next 5 minutes to realize it was something bigger than just some retard going and blowing themselves up with a vest. Mm-hmm. And people don't have that attention span. You know what they have the attention span for?
When there's, like, breaking news updates, when you're not watching a news channel, and they're just like, oh, breaking news, blah, blah, blah. They don't go into
Well, fuck the news. Everyone's on social media. And shit's all over social media, whether you want to see it or not.
Then that depends.
So that, to me, is shocking.
Of, like, certain groups or whatever.
You don't even have... It's just like X or Twitter or whatever the fuck is a sandbox. You can't even... I mean, yeah, you follow people, but there's so many people. If somebody likes a post, it shows up in your feed, or something's recommended to you, or whatever the fuck, because it's going viral. It's like, the shit ends up in front of you, regardless of whether you like it or not.
If something came up in front of you about some basketball game, you bypass it without reading it and not give a shit. I mean...
I guess it depends on interest, but if someone was at a basketball game and knocked somebody out, and, like, the mascot got involved, and he took his head off, and, like, took the basketball and started slamming it in front of someone's head, you know, a basketball player, I'd watch that. I'd watch it and see it, but I wouldn't know the details. But you're
not going to look into it to figure out the details.
Well, the details to me is the video. And videos are all over the internet. I mean, whether it's be Facebook or anything else.
What precipitated it? What happened after? Did someone get arrested?
Well, to me...
Before, did they cuss each other out or throw something at somebody?
I guess I'm unique then. Because if I saw that happen, I would backtrack it to figure out what happened. And then I'd go forward to see what happened.
People are not like
I know most people are not like me. It is annoying.
99% of people are not like you.
It is annoying. And that is why a lot of people come to me and email me and say stupid shit when I'm like, are you serious? That was like on the fucking front page of New York Times. I don't understand how people function, I guess. Everybody's really, really dumb. And I don't get it. And that's what I was telling Ken. It's they've dumbed people down so bad. Gen Z is lost. I don't even know what to think of. What the hell is below Gen Z?
The bottom of the dumpster they came out of?
The bottom of the dumpster they came out of? So are they dumpster babies?
Prom night dumpster babies.
Prom night dumpster babies. No, seriously, do you know what's behind Gen Z? I don't know, but those people are fucked. Luckily, a lot of people are doing homeschool now.
Prom night dumpster baby.
I love you.
I love you. He had his top hat and he was twirling his umbilical cord.
Yuck. Didn't need that visual. You're funny. Well, anyway, I don't know what the hell's going on, but he's destroyed this country pretty well. And if he gets even if he gets that's one question I have no one has answered, and I think I've asked you. If Trump's getting kicked off these ballots, say SCOTUS does nothing, they kick it down the road, they don't agree or disagree, they just kick it down the road. If people can write him in still, and if they can write him in and he won, that would be hilarious. But if they can't even write him in, that's surprising. And nobody's answered that. I even Googled it, Yahoo'd it.
What was the question?
The question is whether or not, like, for example, in Maine, like the one in Colorado is getting appealed, but the one in Maine is probably getting appealed too. But anyway, they kicked that bitch, one single person, kicked him off the ballot. So if he's off the ballot, but can people write him in to win? Or is he disqualified as a candidate?
Just like in 2012, Ron Paul wasn't on the ballot. But
but he wasn't disqualified. He just didn't make it to the ballot.
He wasn't on the ballot.
Right, but they're saying he's disqualified from running to be on the ballot. They're not just saying...
I never heard that. I just heard they removed him from the ballot.
From what I understood, they made it... They were able to remove him because he was disqualified. That's
By what criteria?
The whole 14th Amendment bullshit.
Well,
Insurrection, rebellion, meow, meow, meow.
That's going to hold up about as well as a wet spaghetti noodle in court.
I don't see how it won't. And you know what? And we'll end it on this. If SCOTUS takes it up, and they should, and they will, the only person I could see saying, yes, he needs to get kicked off, is that Jackson Brown bitch that Biden put on. Guarantee it. If it's 8-1, it will be Jackson Brown that will be the problem. If they don't come out with a 9-0, there's going to be a problem. If they come out with an 8-1, fine, whatever. But if they come out split, this country's gonna freak out, freak the fuck out. They're gonna want, they're gonna bring that back. Pack the court. It's a conservative court. They won't even say conservative. It's right-wing court.
MAGA court.
Which is so stupid.
MAGA.
And if anybody bothered to look into the fucking rulings, they'd realize it really isn't a conservative court. There just happened to be a couple cases that were nationally a problem, like the Roe versus Wade.
To remove a woman's constitutional right.
Yeah, that never existed.
To murder her baby.
To murder her baby. Which was never a constitutional right, should never be a constitutional right. It just happened to be a right based on how the court cases fell, and the guy that originally did the case was wrong, and he even said he was wrong. I remember, because I read back into that. He said he was wrong to have made that decision, but he made it anyway. And then he figured...
Right there, that should disqualify you from any sort of legal standing...
As a judge.
Position, judge, lawyer, anything.
He basically...
You should be disbarred, everything. Honestly.
I agree.
You said, that was not the right decision, but I made it anyway.
I agree, because it sounds as though he knew it at the time, and based on how he spoke, he did know it at the time. It wasn't like, well, I've determined I made the wrong decision. It was, I made the wrong decision, but I did it anyway, not, I made the wrong decision, it's unfortunate I did it that way.
It would be just like a normal judge ruling on a random fucking case, a decision that had absolutely no standing within the law.
They do that all the time. Talk to the Seventh Circuit.
I don't, I shouldn't have made that decision because it had no backbone. But
his reasoning behind it.
You should immediately be removed from the bench and disbarred, so you can't practice law.
Unfortunately, that can't even happen to them.
So I know.
But the reason he did that, he said, was because he figured that it would work itself out in later court cases. He thought the foundation of it was right, but he figured the right should be there or something, but there should be limitations or something. I can't remember how he put it.
And then it would be up to the states to decide that, not the federal fucking court.
Well, it was never the federal court to even decide whether it could happen or not.
That's what I mean.
But I mean, they did that whole situation. So anyway, the court is right-wing because of Roe versus Wade, as far as I'm concerned. If you ask anybody around this planet, any other court case that probably happened during SCOTUS in the last, 3 years-ish, they probably wouldn't even think about it. Just like the, what was it called for the schools? That diversity shit.
You're talking about Brown versus...
No. They overturned the... Fuck. They overturned... what Obama put in place, where you had to like meet a criteria for like you had to have so many blacks, Asians, blah 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 in school for admissions.
Oh, university.
Yes, universities. Whatever the hell that was called. Can't remember the name of it. But that got overturned. I guarantee a lot of people wouldn't even remember or know what that is. I mean, there are other cases that they did that are totally like split.
Yeah, I don't even know how that lasted as long as it did.
I don't know.
Complete violation of the fucking civil rights. I don't know if that was the Civil Rights Act or whatever, the discrimination for
civil rights,
the education, for jobs. Like, can you imagine a company doing that?
Companies are doing that. Now they're reversing it. They're reversing it. Did you hear about that?
No.
Google, like all the major companies. All the major companies.
Well, now they're doing it against whites.
No, that's why they're reversing it. They are getting rid of their diversity and inclusion, blah, blah, blah. Departments. Not just like the concept,
no,
but
I'm
departments.
talking about when they go to hire people.
That's what I'm talking about.
People.
They're choosing people that check boxes.
Yes.
No, what I'm saying is they're getting rid of that because of the lawsuits that are coming from white people. It's like, how did you not see that coming? How did you not see that coming? How did you not see how the law would fall under that? The court doesn't give a shit whether you're diverse or not. They go by based on what the fucking Civil Rights Act is. It doesn't say white people excluded. So it's like all these companies, they recently started, Chase Morgan decided to get rid of their fucking bullshit. They're still dealing with companies with green energy, but they're not dealing with humans.
You brought up, like, why would people invest in shit like the EVs because it's not going anywhere? Why would people invest in people to work for them who don't meet a certain criteria, but they just hire them because they look a certain way or they have a certain set of genitalia or they like to fuck certain people?
I don't know.
Rather than a more qualified person to run your company better to like make you money.
Well, it's just like that bitch
like
that's
the purpose of having a company.
That gay black chick, like literally G-A-Y, her last name gay. Where's she? Harvard or something? Yeah, Harvard. She checked a box. Everybody says that she's not supposed to be there. She plagiarized a bunch of shit.
Just like Joe Biden.
She's refusing to actually release certain things. Anyway, she's a box checker, and the reason they're doing that is so originally, like I said, everything's starting to go backwards now, which is very interesting. But I think they originally did that for the same reason Disney did. They thought they would be accepted. Mm-hmm. They thought that these loud voices that are actually a minority are the majority, and they were fucking wrong.
And it's like these companies are spending billions of dollars to appeal to 0.01% of the population.
I think they're so dumb they don't realize it.
Who are probably a fraction of that fraction
interested in their company,
their consumer.
I know. Just
like the Bud Light situation. How many fucking middle America rednecks that drink Bud Light give two shits about some trannies?
Yeah,
obviously,
they're still
a
suffering.
lot of them are very much against it. Otherwise, Bud Light shit and Anheuser-Busch wouldn't have been in the fucking tank for the last 6 months.
I read an article the other day that said that less Americans are drinking beer now than ever because of that situation, and they're all starting to drink wine and hard liquor.
That's probably partially because of the Bud Light situation and other beers, and partially because of the fucking economy.
I agree with that.
The cocoa.
Anyway, thank you for my discussion.
No, I never understood. If I started my own company, I would not give a flying fuck how many multicolored people I had on my payroll. I would give a damn about your qualifications and your skill and your expertise in whatever field I'm trying to hire you for to make me as much money as I can make.
Because it's not like these people were getting kickbacks either. No. There weren't subsidies, there weren't anything.
It's like if you hire a certain number of black people, do you get some sort of fucking annual fund from the NAACP?
If they were, I wasn't aware of it.
Some type of shit with them to like, every black person you hire, you get $1,000 a year. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Or they contact whatever fucking...
What's interesting is the most people that were actually discriminated against regarding jobs, school, everything were Asians. I thought that was very interesting.
I know, and that makes no sense either. Because you think as a university or as a school in general, you get more money based on like how well your test scores are and your attendance and stuff. So you'd think that they would want more Asians because statistically Asians are better at math and science and shit like that. So
yep. So let's bring in the retards instead.
Yeah,
let's get rid of the SATs and all that other bullshit.
I heard that blacks get a 400-point handicap on the SATs.
What?
Just for being black.
Are you serious? That's got to be a joke.
I heard. I don't know.
That's got to be a joke.
I have no idea.
Well, considering it doesn't matter to get into any elite school or any school anymore, it doesn't really matter. I have never heard that. That's hilarious. I hope that's true. I hope that's true just for the meaning of I'll know what everybody's real score was.
And just like this fucking NIL shit with college sports now, name, image, likeness.
Oh, yeah.
You can, like, get paid to play college sports now. Then
yeah, SCOTUS ruled on that.
Then what's the incentive? Because the incentive before was to get out of the hood and get in the NFL and the NBA and make millions of dollars. So, like, what's
and
the
now
incentive
you can do it now.
Yeah. So it's like, and then that's just an added distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were talking about the downside of that, about how
and then now,
the grades are suffering and all this shit and blah blah blah.
Well, you only have to maintain like a fucking C average. Anyway.
I know, but still, they were talking about people like basically. That's what they were saying. You only have to take so many courses too, so they were taking longer to get through college, to stay in college longer, to get those benefits because they knew they weren't going on to pro. They were talking about that. That's what they were talking about.
And then these people are stupid, and it's like a lot of these players are in the NFL. I'll just use that as an example because I watched football for so many years. A lot of players are in the NFL for much less than like 10 years. Usually it's like 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Like when you're receiver, running back, those types of positions, yeah.
Quarterbacks last a long time, don't they?
Usually, yeah. Like, for example, Barry Sanders was one of the best running backs to ever play the game, and he only played for like 9 or 10 years.
Wow. I did not know that. But I do not watch NFL.
Well, that's the problem, is your body breaks down faster than you think.
Even though the game takes forever, they pause all the time, they make penalties all day long, they throw flags all day long, they have to reset, and I swear to God there should be a time clock like everything else, but there isn't, and it just takes forever and ever and ever.
And if they decide, because you only have to do like 3 years of college for the NFL. NBA, you only have to do
I don't even think you have to. I didn't think you had to do college at all.
Yes.
I thought people have gone to NFL from high school.
Nope.
Are you sure about that?
If they did, they would die.
Die?
Yes.
Like, get their ass kicked?
No, like, physically die.
Oh.
Because an 18-year-old walking on the field
you know what I'm talking
like
about? It's basketball.
Yes.
Basketball
That's what I was
does
going to
that.
say. I think you only have to do... Some cases, like LeBron James, I think, went straight out of high school.
Yeah, there's a lot of
people
that did.
If you go to college, I think it's like a minimum of a year. That's it.
Yeah, it's definitely NBA.
But football is 3 years. So it's like, you're not going to get a degree in 3 years. So if you decide you're not going to get a degree, and then you go to the NFL, and let's say you tear your ACL.
You're plopped.
And now you can't run. And so you've been in there for, what, 2 years? Your rookie contract probably made like 10 million, 20 million, maybe. I have no idea what the rookie contracts are anymore. But, so cut it in half for taxes. And then how many of your homies did you give money to and your baby mamas?
And what did you buy?
And whose credit did you repair? And mansions and Bentleys and all this other shit.
And gold teeth.
Yeah, all these motherfuckers blow their money on stupid shit. And now you don't even have a degree, so you have to go flip burgers.
No, you know what they do? They find the company that will hire them because they check a box.
Or, oh, here's former NFL player, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they do.
They get one of these
jobs, yeah.
Broadcaster.
Job.
It's like, well, I only played for 2 years, but this is how this play is going to go.
What's the guy's name that I loved that was a broadcaster for NFL that said stupid shit? Madden. I miss that guy. I liked playing the Sega Genesis football games because he was the announcer. I loved him. He was so neat. He sounded so dumb. It was so great to listen to.
There was a guy who played defense. He played for the Ravens. I don't remember how long he played. It was like 8 or 9 years. And same situation. I don't think he finished. I don't think he got a degree. So after he retired from football, he declared bankruptcy.
Whoa.
Because he was paying like $31,000 a month in child support.
Holy shit.
Because they base it on your income, and he was making, $5 million a year or whatever.
If I'm gonna get banged up by somebody, make sure they're fucking loaded. I can't, though. It wouldn't matter. Calm down. Relax. That would be the route to go, though. Holy shit. It's just like Hunter Biden. They based it off of his income, prior income. And now he's having to, like, back pay a bunch of money that he no longer has.
Good.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. His daughter's name is Navy. And she's a stripper, too. And that was funny.
Branch he tried to get into?
I think he... I think he was in the Navy.
He probably named it after his failure.
Named it after his failure.
He had one failure, so he named his second failure the same thing.
You're hilarious.